Yeah. So today I'm going to cover about like in JavaScript basics, just like in just a recall or brush up kind of stuff actually. Okay, and then I'll go with like in service now scripting. One second. Scripting which we have a glide APIs actually. So which I'm gonna cover like in glide APIs. And I'll go with the background script. So what it is and why we need to use. Okay, so this is what today's things which we are gonna cover. Okay, so let me go with like in the first one. So write it down, JavaScript. So as we know about like in which we should be aware of like in JavaScript basics, right? So that's what let's wrap up like in few things about like in what is JavaScript and what we are gonna use most over there. So just I'm gonna brush up kind of stuff only which I'm giving right now. So guys, you just need to focus on like in the kind of like in content which you need to learn actually. So just go to like in the internet, just search with like in a lot of stuff, whatever you come, it's like in whatever you get into your mind, go to like a YouTube or else W3 schools or else anywhere. So just learn it as well. So that will help you a lot while working with the scripting. Okay, so let's get started. Write it down. JavaScript is a JavaScript is a scripting or programming language or which we can say programming language
So if you want to pay an idea, we'll go back to Kuabi.
programming language that allows you to continue, that allows you to that allows you to that allows you to implement complex features on web pages, that allows you to implement complex features complex features on web pages on web pages full stop. JavaScript is OOP, object oriented programming, which means that JavaScript is OOP, object oriented programming, which means that you can build you can build smaller objects. So write it down. Types, not JavaScript types actually, so scripting types. We have client side script, client side, server side, and core. And core. Types of scripting: client side script, server side script, and core. Client side script. It enables enhancements and manipulations. Enhancements and manipulations. It enables enhancements and manipulations on web browser. On web browser. Next, server side. Server side. It enables it enables backend access, backend access to tables, to tables, database, database files, and servers, and servers. It enables backend access to tables, database files, and servers. So whenever we need to work on with like in database tables or servers or something, or else we need to get the data from these things, then we are going to use a server side scripting. If we are going to work with like in the client side, which is nothing but the web browser or else the something which you can see on a form of page, that is what client side. Okay, so if we have a combination of these both client and server, it's nothing but core. Write it down. It is nothing but both the combination of client side and server side. Client side and server side. So in service now, which we are gonna go with like in client side scripting, server side scripting, and both the things which we can use based on requirement. Okay, so core is nothing but both the combination of client side and server side. Full stop. Next. So now I'm gonna tell you about the basic syntaxes or is what and all the things which we need to remember while scripting. Okay, so the first point, let's say examples, syntax or reminder points, which we just need to go ahead actually. So it depends on our things like, and whatever which we need to remember while we need to, while we are going to script, while we are going to write a coding. Okay, the first thing is like in JavaScript is a case sensitive. So here capital A and small a is different. If I define capital A, then that is different. And if I define like an A, that is different. So string values is different. And then the methods, whatever which we are using here. So let's say there is like in one method called add query. That's the example. So here the A is like in small letter and here the Q is like in capital letter, which is something but the camel format. Okay, so if I mention here it's like in capital A and then the query with like in small k, it won't work. Okay, so this is like in case sensitive, which I can say. Okay, and the second thing, we should not use extra spaces while scripting. Let's say I wrote like in 5 lines of script over here and I took like in 10 lines of spaces over here and I added like in again the 10 lines of script here. Let's say 12 lines of script here. So that will won't make any sense, right? So giving like a lot of space in between that will won't make sense. So we just need to, the alignment should be proper. That will help us to understand better. Okay, and before that, let me go with like a JavaScript stuff actually. So JavaScript is nothing but this is a scripting or the programming language which we are going to use or else which we are going to work on like in the web pages, which is used to implement our complex features. So now we are going, a lot of things is like and going on like in JavaScript gaming things and all, lot of applications and web services is like and going ahead actually, web pages and everything. Okay, so here we are going to use like a client side, server side, and core. So client side is nothing but as I told you, whenever we are going to work on like a web browser, let's say this is a web browser, right? So if I open like an any form, so the thing which we are going to see, it's like in the interface, whatever which we have right now is nothing but client side. So the thing which you are not gonna see, which is under like in backend access, like tables, database fields or servers or whatever it might be. So you just need to work on with these stuff, then we'll go with the server side. Okay, let's say the example which I can say client side is nothing but I just need to uh, make a field mandatory or read only, or else I just need to auto populate of any kind of like in fields, or else something which I just need to do kind of configurations or enhancements, or else the implementations, whatever it might be, which we can see in a form or something else. That's what will come under client side. Server side is nothing but which you cannot see. I just need to retrieve the data, or else I just need to get a data from like a table and I need to update those stuff based on my condition. So that will come under server side. That's example. And if I want to do like in both at the same time, then I will go with the core. Okay, so this is what like in the syntax which we are need to I'm gonna cover like a few more stuff as well over here. So just remember, whenever we are scripting, whenever we are writing like in code or something else, just we need to remember these points actually. First thing is like, and this is case sensitive. Second thing is like an extra spaces should not be there while writing scripts. Extra space, no extra spaces. Okay, and which I can say, we just need to start with like in the semicolon for each and every sentence, end of a sentence. So semicolon is used to end of a statements. Okay, let's say I wrote one line of script. It's like in 10 lines. Okay, if it is like in not a loops or something else other than that, so each statement should end with a semicolon. Okay, other than loops, let's say I'm going like the if loop, while loop, for loop or something else, that with except those stuff, and other than the remaining stuff I just need to go with a semicolon here. Okay, so we need to use this to end the statements. Okay, and one more thing, the next point is like in the string should be used a single or double quotes. Let's say the string is nothing but collection of characters, right? Let's say example, test. Test is one string because T is one character letter, combination of letters which we call it as a string. So if I define any string somewhere, let's say example, I need to go with like in the test, this is string. So that should be in a single or double quotes. Okay, so we need to define that in a string. Okay, sorry, define that in a double or single quote if that is a string. Okay, and the next thing is like an if I use conditions or functions or something, I just need to use a parenthesis, closed braces, which we call it as a open braces, right? So let's say I'm going with like a condition, if condition for loop, or else the conditions or else functions which I'm going to create it. Okay, so that should be in a parenthesis. Okay, so just remember this as well. Let's say example, if is a condition, right? So that should be in a parenthesis with a is equal to 0. So that's what. So which we are going to use it in a parenthesis. Already these stuff and all which we already know. So in our college, which we learned a lot on this stuff and all. Just I'm brushing up. I'm just recalling all those stuff. That's it. Okay, and we can go with like in we need to use a comment should be there while writing a scripting. So comments is nothing but something. So what I'm gonna do, what kind of like in requirement it is. Let's say I'm gonna write like in 100 or 1,000 lines of script in anywhere. Okay, so they might be like in different blocks, right? 50 lines for 100 lines or something. Let's say example 100 lines and 20 lines is like in one purpose, and then 40 lines is like an another purpose, and then remaining 40 lines is like in some other purpose. So if I add like in comments over there, then what will happen, it will be easy to understand what's the purpose of that specific block. So what we are retrieving or else what we are using over there, what's the use case, what's the purpose of that specific block. So in order to know that, what we need to do, we need to check it out like in one by line all the line of script and need to check it out. So instead of like in going to like an each and every line to find it out like in with what's the purpose or what's the functionality of a block of script, if we, let's say if I go with like in the comments which we are going to add via forward slash with a double, let's say example, this is used to retrieve the user records. let's say example, the block which I'm going to write after this, under this I can write a block of script to retrieve a records. And one more thing, if it is like in single line of thing, which we can go with the forward slashes. Okay, this is the compiler will won't execute this one actually. So whenever we do have like in comments, that will won't execute. That's for like an R purpose, just for like an understanding purpose, just for the our identification. That's it. If it's like a multiple lines of comments, you need to go ahead. So forward slash with a star and go with your comments, your statements, and then again star with a forward slash. Even if I do this also, this is a commenting as well. So these lines of script, let's say here the under this I have a 20 lines of script, actually 20 lines of script which I have written. So this will not be taken as a compiler, will won't recognize this as a script. So it will take it as a string and it will won't execute. So whenever we write those stuff in like in the comments, okay, comments is just for like an identification or is just for like an understanding what it is actually. So let's say I'm writing like an any script or something else, and there I need no, I don't want to execute a specific line. Okay, then also which we can comment out the line and we can execute it later. And there is like in 20 lines which is not required right now. So I can comment out with like in this multi-line text comments. Okay, then this won't be executed. And in future, if I want this 20 lines, I can copy paste somewhere and I can utilize this as well. So instead of like in erasing or removing a whole lines, we can comment it out to skip from execution. Okay, so there's like a two purpose which we are gonna use like in commenting. So one is for like a better understanding what's the purpose of a script or functionality or block or something else. And if I wanna do not skip from like an execution part, let's say there is like an lines of code which I just need to hold on for a few minutes or hold on for some time. So what I can do, I can this comments which I can use it out and this will won't be executed. Okay, so later if I want this, I can remove these comments and that will be executed. So compiler will identify the methods and script, whatever which I have written, and it will be executed actually. Okay, and then we can use escape characters as well for our special things. Let's say if I want to enable any kind of like an string or something else in the same string, I need to go with like in multiple lines. So let's say example, if I create one object var is equal to var a is equal to, so I will use a this is service now, let's say example, and this service now also should come. So my output, so this is like a string, right? As we discussed, that should be a string, should be in a single or double quotes. Okay, so if my output, I would just want this as a output should be like this actually. This is service now should be in quotes again, as this is like in something important. So if I want to use this, okay, if I add it out like in multiple or else these two things, so compiler will take it as a error because it doesn't know where which string is like in the first one. So it might take this one as well, or is this one as well, or else it will take like an error as well. So what we can do, if I want that this kind of like an output in by using like an the string kind of stuff, which we can use escape characters. Let's say example, if I add it out like in backward slash over here, okay, then it will print out this one. Okay, so which we can use escape characters as well. Okay, and have you ever heard about like in reserve words, guys? Reserve words. So in our first engineering classes and all, we have a C language, I think the first semester. So there we learn this a lot. Reserve words is nothing but there is like a break, case, catch, condition, default, delete, do, while, false, finally, or function, if we do have like an switch and throw, try, all these things which we can say reserve words actually. So there is a one specific word which is already there in a programming language that has a specific reason, that has a specific purpose of using that specific reserve word actually. Let's say if I use break, so break is nothing but coming out of that specific loop, right? So I should not use these reserve words while creating a variables. So here, see, I use like in var a is equal to the string, right? So I should not use break here. Var break is equal to my content. It's like, and if I want to create like an object or something else, I should not use this because this is a reserved word. So compiler will confuse that whether that this is a variable or is whether this is a reserved word. So if I use a break over here, then what will happen? I'll get an error or warning here. So why? Because here that is like a reserved word. So this break has a specific purpose or reason, right? So I should not use reserve words as like in variables actually. So what is variables? Let us know that first. Variable is nothing but it is what something which we are going to store a data. Containers for storing data values. So in JavaScript, variables which we can contain like in all the data types, right? String values, integers, objects, arrays, functions, and all these things and all, right? So let's say here, see, var a is equal to this one, or else let me go with like in var a is equal to 1. So this is what a one variable which I declare with the value. So without value also I can declare, see, var a. And then the next line which I have gone to like in var b. So these things are well simple things, actually simple, var c. So in my program which I will go with like an, I'll print it out like var a is a plus b actually. So if I print out like in the c value, let's say example a plus b, if a is equal to, let's say example, let me assign a value over here, and b is equal to 2, and then a plus b, it should be 4, right? So if c is equal to, if I go with like an a plus b is equal to something, and if I define like in c, and I need to store this value is equal to a plus b, let's say example. So now what will happen if I print it out like in c, then the value will be 4. Right. So the A is like in 2 and B is like in 2. And if I add it out like in var C with like an A plus B, then what will happen? C is equal to 4 will come up. Right. So what's the purpose of like in using a variable is nothing but what we are doing here, the two value which we are storing in a variable. And then the B value, let's say example, this is like in 4. The 4 is like in storing in a B variable. So whenever I define this B somewhere, then that refers to a 4. Or else if I let's say example, if I go with like in any other thing, so checking. So if I define somewhere this variable, okay, b is equal to something else, then instead of like in taking up directly b, it in compiler will take it, this checking as a value. Okay, so that's what which we can say variable is a storing the values into the variables actually. So whatever which we define the variable and the value, that value will be stored in that specific variable actually. Okay, variable will be changed accordingly. Okay,
Priyanka,
so yeah,
I mean to say, to conclude that output, what we need to write?
to conclude this output, which we can go with like in var a is equal to 2 and var b is equal to 3 or something else, and in print which we can go with like in c is equal to a plus b, then
Okay,
we'll get a c value.
simply we can write it as C is equal to A plus B.
It depends on like in the languages which we are using. So C, it is different, Java is just different, and then depends on like in some other thing. But the thing is like in you just need to know about what is var and everything,
Okay.
variable and everything. And in service now, which I'm gonna tell you what we need to do, we can go with like in gs.log, gr dot something, and gs.print. So we do have like a few things, and that I'll
Yeah.
discuss.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so this is for just like a brush upping of like in the things which we forgot before. That's it. So these things which we learned in like in our college days, right? So just I'm recalling those things. That's it. Okay, and we do have a data types, guys. So data types is nothing but, so here we have a what kind of data it is. We have a content type. I told you right in an integration that differs as like in JSON format or else XML format, Excel format in that way, right? So if it is like in data type is nothing but, so we have a different types. Like in string we have, number we have. It's like in which we can say integers we have. Okay, Boolean values, which is nothing but true or false. Okay, we have a array, objects, all these things is nothing but which we can say data type. So what kind of data type it is, so it depends on like an our thing we need to implement. So based on like an our requirement or else based on like an our output, we are going to decide which one should be used. So string is nothing but which I can say, as I told you before, the test. So combination or collection of characters is nothing but string. Okay, if there is like in three, one or more alphabetic words are like in together, which forms like in one meaning other than these reserved words, which we can say string. Okay, and if it is like a number, which is nothing but integer values, integers, which we can say 1, 20, 34, 55. So these things which we can say integers, and then boolean, which we know true or false. In a backend, it will go with like in 0 and 1. Right, and we have a array as well. So array is nothing but holding different values actually. So let me go with like an var, let's say test is equal to, we can assign this in a array. So here I can go with like in multiple values, which is nothing but array, which will say. So array will hold the different values over there. And the object, so object is nothing but this holds a structured data with the named properties. So let's say example, I just need to define x is equal to something, x is equal to 1, or else y is equal to something, x is equal to 9. Okay, so this array, which we can go with this is what something which we can say object. Or else we have like a standard kind of structure actually in our service now. New is equal to glide record of with a table name or something else, let's say incident. So this is also one object which I can say. So just that all the incident records, whatever which we are having like in an incident table, that will be stored in a that ZR variable. That's it. So instead of like in ZR, which I can go with like an anything, let's say example RT, that also will find. So the variable is like in which whatever which we can go inc anything. Okay, so object is this is what actually. Okay, and we'll go with like in functions as well. So function is nothing but it is a block of code which is designed to perform a particular task. So which we have like in block of code. So there is a kind of like an activity or functionality which we just need to implement, or else which we need to execute. So what we are going to do, we are going to write a block of code by defining like in function, so which is a reusable code actually. So which clean code for like an legibility, which I can say. So whenever we call that specific function, we create it, then that will be executed. So whenever we create a function, that should be called for sure. So if we call the function, then that will be done. So let me create one sample function for you, just for like in how we need to do, just give like a function with a function name. So let me go with a function name over here. So function name is test. Okay, and here which we are going to write out like in all the lines of script based on like in the functionality, and close it, and then which we are going to return that specific function. That's it. So whenever I created like in the function which we can return, which we are going to call that function. Okay, and we can go with like in some other type as well. It's like in creating the function, so which we can go with like in directly test. Test is a function name, remember that actually. So in this way also which we can declare it. Okay, and this is what about like in function is nothing but function is a block of code which we are going to perform a particular activity or functionality or something else, depends on requirement. Okay, so and one more thing is like in conditions. So conditions, and remember whenever after defining a function we need to call it. Okay, and we'll go with like in conditions. So conditions is nothing but condition statements are used to perform a different actions based on a different conditions actually. So we have a if condition. Okay, and we can go with like an else if, and then switch. Okay, and then we have a loops as well, for loop, while loop, do while we haven't used. I haven't used it actually right as of now. We can use that as well. So most probably which we use like an if condition, while, and then for loop actually. So if is nothing but something we know, right? So if the condition got satisfied, if with the condition, it's like let's say example, if state is on hold, let's say example, as per like an R incident, what do you say, field. Okay, if the state is like an on hold, then my script should get work. If the state is like a not on hold, then that will go with like an else, and then this will get executed. That's it. So if the condition got satisfied, and then this line of script will get executed, and if not, it will go with like in this one. I can go with else if statement as well, switch condition, or else it depends on a requirement actually. Okay, so already you guys are like an aware of like an all these kind of stuff, right? So that's what which I just need to recall or wrap up, or else which I can say review all these things in a half an hour. Okay, so that's what just know about this, and then go to like in the videos, YouTube videos, and then W3 schools and all. Just go and then learn about like in the methods, the logics which we use, and all these things and all that will help you a lot. But within a few periods like in a few days which you cannot get it out directly, but whenever you are going keep on practicing and keep on learning, so one fine day you can able to be a perfect scripting as well. Okay, so this will won't happen within a overnight. Okay, so just focus on this, and then just go with like in one by one, whenever you are getting like in free time, just go with this, and then you can achieve it. And one more thing is like, if you are not good with like in scripting and all, no need to worry, you can learn. First point. A second point, we do have a lot of the support from like in community. It's like in Google will help us a lot. Let's say I got a requirement, I'm not sure about any idea what to do with like in that specific script, but I know only the use cases like in the requirement. Just give the requirement over here, and then in service now, let's say example, see script to display comments fields in notifications from approval table in service now. See, I got like this is a use case actually. Okay, then now I got a community links over here. Just open this, and you'll get a lot of stuff to get it out. So just read all these things and all, and you will get on kind of like in clarity what to do next. Okay, so if there is like an any issue, maybe like an any use case, maybe like a simple point as well. So don't go and ask someone else first. Just go and do your work, do your research, and do get like some knowledge from here. And still you're struggling, then get help from like some other else, maybe like a senior developers or something else, whoever it might be in your project. Okay, but before that, just go do your internal work as well. So research something, get the knowledge of that specific at least like in 10 to 15%, and then approach someone. So direct blindly or it's blank mind of things and all, just don't go and ask help any of your colleagues. Okay, just get to know about like, let's say example, see. Okay, it's not coming right now. Yeah, see, we do have like a lot of stuff over here. This is like in docs actually. So it's not doc. It's like a community which I just need to go with like in my normal Gmail account actually. So that's what it's not coming up. But generally, you will get it out. Okay, so whatever the use case might be, not only in ITSM modules, whatever the module might be, maybe like an ITAM, ITBM, or else GRC, or else HRSD, okay, whatever it might be, just go with like a community and you will get a lot. Okay, no need to worry about like in scripting. And one more thing, so we have this kind of like in content, right? Don't take it as like a granted, and don't delay learning scripting as well. So this will guide you, that's it, but that won't fulfill your requirement, right? So you just need to have a minimum awareness like in knowledge at least like in how the scripting will work, how the logic which we need to write. Okay, so those things which will get it out. What if your requirement is like a not fooling with the community or something else which is not giving 100% result, then you need to work on, right? So that's what, just go with that. So the point which I conveyed is just not to worry. So no need to worry about like in the scripting thing and all. So we do have a lot of support as well, but you need to work on this as well. That will help you a lot to become a very good service now developer. Okay, yeah. So without wasting our time, let me go with like in service now scripting part actually. So keep the heading as scripting in service now. Scripting in service now. So not only scripting part, guys, whatever the thing, maybe like a normal configurations as well. Let's say you're not aware of like in import sets. Maybe you're not aware of like in the workflows. Maybe you're not good with like in any other concepts and all. So you can type it out there in service now, and you will get like a lot of stuff on community, docs, YouTube, and then we do have like a lot of stuff as well, articles. Okay, so you can explore a lot. So within like in 45 to 50 hours of training, so I'm trying my max to give the best which help you for your interview and for your projects works and all. But the thing is like, and we do have a lot of stuff to learn, right? So we do have a lot of modules as well. So just focus on like in what wherever you are lagging, wherever you are not not able to understand or something else, just go and explore and then get a knowledge. Okay, so no one will stop you. The thing is like in, you just need to put some time and efforts, that's it.
Priyanka,
Yeah,
there would be a lot of difference for actual JavaScript and JavaScript in service now, right?
not lot of the things, the logics whatever which you are using is like in same, but the methods classes will be like in different.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so that's what which I'm gonna tell you now. Yeah, write it down guys. Scripting in service now. ServiceNow provides ServiceNow provides APIs APIs which has which has classes and methods, classes and methods that you can use in scripts that you can use in scripts to define functionality, or to work on requirements, both are same, to define functionalities. Full stop. Full stop. I'll repeat again. ServiceNow provides APIs which has classes and methods that you can use in scripts to define functionalities. Next line. These APIs are these APIs are same as JavaScript classes. Same as JavaScript classes. Full stop. Next line. Next line. In ServiceNow scripting, in ServiceNow, we will work on we will work on both the server side and client side. Both the server and client side. Both server and client side. Both server and client side. Full stop. Next, write it down. Glide record API. So this is what which we use very frequently in ServiceNow scripting actually. Glide record, which we call it as a normal API. Okay. If you are good with like in glide record, then you are gonna cover almost 60 to 70% of scripting in ServiceNow. Okay. Glide record. Glide record is a class. Write it down. Glide record is a class for database operations. For database operations rather than use rather than writing SQL queries. SQL queries. Glide record is a class for database operations rather than writing SQL queries. Full stop. Next line. Next line. Glide record is a glide record is a special Java class. Special Java class that can be used in that can be used in JavaScript that can be used in JavaScript. While writing, you can go with the shortcuts. JS is nothing but JavaScript. JavaScript exactly as a JavaScript class. Exactly as a JavaScript class. Full stop. Full stop. Next line. Next line. Glide record is an object. Glide record is an object that contains glide record is an object that contains records from a single table. Object that contains records from a single table. Full stop. Full stop. Okay, so let us discuss about these stuff and we'll go with the rest later. Okay, so scripting in ServiceNow is nothing but just like a it will be easy only, guys, actually. So if you're good with like a normal logical things and all, let's say I got a requirement and what kind of logic will work for that specific thing. So if you're good with that kind of thing, and then these glide APIs which I'm going to tell you okay today, so then it will be very easy for you to go with the ServiceNow scripting. Okay, so no need to worry about like in a scripting part and all. So let's go with these things one by one. So scripting in ServiceNow. So here we have a APIs. APIs is nothing but application programming interface. Okay, so which we are going to use, let's say example the glide record which is there here, right? So this is one API, and we have a glide user, glide system, glide exact, glide aggregate. So we do have like a lot actually, so I'm going to share you those stuff as well. So this is what something which will work with like an APIs, the glide APIs which we call it actually. So which has like in all the classes and methods which we are going to use in our script to fulfill our requirements. Okay, so let's say example, I just need to get a data from like in one table to other table. Maybe I just need to display in a notification. I just need to pop up like in with the other table data into over here. So what I need to do, I need to glide the other table as other table data, and I need to auto populate, or else I just need to display that value in my current table things as well. So there is like a lot of things which we can do by using a glide APIs actually. So it depends on like in the requirement which we are going to select or else choose which API is appropriate for that. Okay, so just go with like in all the documents which I have shared you. I'll show you that as well within a few minutes. Okay, before that, let me finish this and we'll go with the documents now. So guys, this is what something which we are going to use with like an APIs which have a classes and methods. Okay, we do have like a lot of classes and methods over there. So like let's say add query, add active query, encoded query, and we do have like an update, multiple delete, multiple stuff and all. Okay, so we do have like a lot of methods which we can use over there. Okay, and based on these methods and all, let's say based on like in the functionality which we are going to take up like in those stuff, and we can go ahead actually. Okay, so this we can go, which we are going to use in a both client and server side. Let's say I just need to work on like in the form view. Okay, or else I just need to work on like in on a form, or else only a web browser which is looking right now, the interface, or else the kind of like and stuff whatever which is there over here. Okay, it depends on like in a requirement only. So if I want to work with like in the web browser or the form or something else, okay, UI is okay, UI and form both are same, so then I'll go with the client side. If other than that, if I want to go with like in our instance tables or servers or database or something else, then I will go with the server side scripting. So for example, so client side, which I can say client scripts, we have the best example for client side scripting is client scripts, and the best example for like in server side which I can serve business rules. Okay, script includes and all these things actually. So which we are going to cover that as well in the next classes. Okay, so the glide record API is nothing but this is what something which we are going to perform our database operations. That is nothing but CRUD operations, creating, deleting, updating. Okay, and then getting a data from like in the table. So the kind of stuff and all which we are going to perform these operations by using a glide record instead of using SQL queries. So generally we used to do all these database operations by using SQL queries in general, right? So let's say I need to insert, or else I just need to update something. Okay, I need to write a query, right? So insert with like a table name in a bracket, I need to give a field names with the field values, and then I need to close that bracket over there, and I need to execute it. Then that specific table fields will be updated, created, or whatever it might be, which we can do. So these SQL queries, instead of using these things in our service now, which we are going to use our glide APIs. So that's what the database operations which we can perform by using a glide APIs rather than using SQL queries actually. Okay, so GR is just like in the glide record is nothing but just like an object which has a records of a single table. Let's say if I glider incident, I showed you like in one I created one I wrote one object right with like an incident table where ZR is equal to new glide record of with an incident. So that is one object actually. So what it contains in that specific line of code, it contains all the records of a single table, that is incident table. So incident table, all the records will store in a that specific variable, whatever I declared there. Okay, that's what which we can say. Client record is an object, so which we are going to store all the records of a single table. I can go with like an any other table as well, not only incident, I can go with like in multiple tables as well. Okay, so let's say I cannot go with like a multiple tables at the same time in a single object. So if I want to go with like a multiple tables, then I need to create multiple objects over there. So got my point, right? Let's say I just need to glide one table. Okay, let's say incident table, and later I need to glide a object. It's like a not object, a problem. Okay, so the object whatever I created for like an instant table will remain same. And if I want to go with like in some other thing, I need to write one more object like var zr is equal to new glide record of problem. Okay, so I cannot go with like an incident comma problem, or else incident and problem, incident or problem, that won't work. Only single table in a one single object. Okay, so all the table records will contain in this specific variable whatever we declared. Okay, so do you remember I told you about like in the scripting part, right? So the documents which I shared you. Okay, so there is like a glide record, glide system, glide user, and all these things, right? So your assignment or your homework or something else, whatever it might be, so you just need to go to like in all the documents over here to be a good developer, service no developer. So I'm gonna cover like in the glide record today. Okay, so these things and all your homework, just go to like in all the documents over here, and remember, if we are going at it like an if you're good with like an understanding with this glide record document, it will be easy for you to understand remaining stuff as well. So everything all the things will be like in same, only the methods will change, and then the alignment and everything will be like in same. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go with like in this glide record for now. Okay, and I will explain each and every method for you guys. Okay, and I'll execute and I'll show you what there. And after finishing this, I'm gonna upload this as well anyhow. And later, after doing this, whenever you get free time tomorrow before the class, just go to like a glide form, glide user, glide system, glide session, glide date and time, all these things and all. Okay, but make sure to finish like a glide record first and then go with like in the next step actually. So glide record is nothing but it is a server-side scripting which we use, and glide form is nothing but that we are gonna use with the client-side scripting. So at least go with like a glide record and glide form as of now. Okay, whenever you get time, then go with like in the remaining stuff one by one. Okay, so hope you are gonna do that as well soon. Okay, so let me download this. I'm not sure whether it will come or not. We'll see. So this glide record is nothing but which we are going to check it out. 1 minute. Let me open this. I hope this will come up now.
It's already opened, right? Yeah.
That is not in a full screen now, so
Oh,
I want this in a full screen. See, this is not good, whereas this is good. Okay. So see guys, Glide API. So Glide API is nothing but something. So as of now, this is what which we discussed, right? So ServiceNow developer often use Glide APIs in ServiceNow. So as I told you, this is what which we are going to use very frequently to write a scripting. So see here, we are going to change it out like in the existing behavior on our table. Let's say there is like in any kind of functionalities running on in a out of the box functionality, or I need to change it out those stuff. Or I'll just need to work on like a few more enhancements, few more additional kind of stuff over there. Then I will go with like in this glide API. Okay. Can't I reduce the size over here? It's not working for me.
you need to click on enable editing first.
I did that. It's not working. I did starting only. That's
Okay.
what there is like an issue with Microsoft license.
You can click it. You can click that into mark.
Even though it's not working, I did that as well. Fine. Well, let us adjust like this. Yeah. So see here, guys, we do have a type of glide APIs as well. So as I told you, scrolling also it's not working. Fine. Okay, so see the client side and then server side which we have. So glide form, glide record. So this is for something it's coming up. It's not good, guys. Let me go here. Yeah. So see here the type of glide APIs which you have is like in the client side APIs we have and then server side APIs we have. So if I want to go ahead with like in the client side scripting or something else, I will use glide form, glide user, glide exec, glide dialog window, glide list and glide menu. If I want to go with like in the server side scripting, then I will use like in for sure glide record which we were discussing before, glide system, glide date and time, glide aggregate, glide date and glide element. Okay, so your thing is like, and your work is like just I'm gonna cover like a glide record and then just go to like an each and every document which I have shared you over here. Okay, and check it out each method and get to know what it is. Just know about like in the method and the purpose and the syntax. That's it. Not more than that. Just go with like in these stuff. And if you are good with these things, then no need to get panic of regarding this scripting and all in service now. Okay, so we'll see what is glide record and uses. So as I told you before, so instead of like in using SQL queries which we are going to use a glide record to perform a CRUD operations actually. Okay, so here we do have like a lot of stuff which we can go ahead actually. So see here which we are going to go with like an all the things and all. Let's say example, as I told you, right? So instead of like an using a SQL query, so there is like an application over here. So if I write something and I need to go with like an SQL to get the data from my servers. Okay, so what we are doing, we are not using this SQL queries instead of this. We are going with like in Glide APIs. See JavaScript with like in the kind of image also it's going ahead with like in the same stuff which we are using the JavaScript. We can use JavaScript instead of like in passing the SQL queries actually. Okay, so this is what something the architecture of a glide record. So just for like a better understanding, this is what which help you to understand. Okay, so see here which we have a insert, update, delete record methods on a query results as well. So this is what the most common API which we use it, the glide record. As I told you, if you are good with like in this glide record, most probably 60 to 70% of scripting will be there in your hands. Okay, and this will run in a server side, even this also which we discussed. And instead of like in generating SQL queries, we use this and we perform a CRUD operations. Okay, just remember these 4 points. Okay, this like a most commonly which we use this in our service now scripting, server side scripting. And instead of using like an SQL queries, which we use this. Okay, and we are going to perform CRUD operations over here for all the tables. Okay, so this is what something which you just need to focus on, guys, the structure of using like a glide record actually. So the sample script, whatever which you are seeing right now, var inc is equal to new glide record of incident with the following lines. Okay, so this what the purpose or the use case of using these lines is nothing but I'm gliding a incident record or incident table, and there I'm filtering like in the category with the software, and I'm printing that specific record short description over here. So let me go to the toollet for better understanding. So if I go with like in incident list view, okay, so see here I have 89 records. Okay, so I just need to go with like in, let's say there is like in the category software, right? Okay, so if the category is like in software, and I can go with like in one more as well. So now I got a 13 records, and then updated by is like in system. Let's say example. So here I have only one record. So the filter here is like in category software and updated by is like in system, right? So if I want to use this filter in scripting, so what I need to do is nothing but I just need to glide a record. I need to glide a record where inc is equal to new glide record of incident. So this first line is nothing but which we are creating an object over here. So just getting a table, and we are gliding the table over here, and then the all the records of incident table which we are going to store in this inc variable. Okay, see the table which we are using and the query which we are using over here, and then which we are getting like in record kind of stuff, and then the field which you are using over here. So add query, query, and the next. Let me go with like in the next second line as well. See, inc is nothing but the variable which we are referring like in the same variable. In this inc, remember we have all the records of an instant table. If you have 1,000 records, 1,000 will be there. If you have like an more than that as well, that will be there, no worries. Okay, inc dot add query. So add query is like in one of a thing which we use it for like in filter. So here I did it is a manually, right? So I have gone to like in funnel or else filtering over here with like in show matching or something else. This is what I did by a manual form in a form view. So if I need to get this record by using like in scripting, okay, so or else if I need to go ahead with like in the software all the 13 records by using scripting, instead of going to like in form and all, automatically I just need to update, or else I need to get all the short descriptions of this specific category is equal to software records, not only in instant form. Remember, it will work in like in each table in service now. Okay, so I just need to print this short description or description whose category, whose records of like in categories like in software. So add query is nothing but the filtering conditions which we apply over there. Okay, so which what I'm doing, the category with separating with the comma with the software, the field name with the field value. Category is a field name and this is a value of a field, right? So which I'm filtering over here. And then see inc dot query. So inc dot query is nothing but running or executing this thing. So whenever I execute this, see I have a run button here now. Let's say example, if I open the field funnel icon and here I have a run button. So if I run it, then what will happen, this filter condition will apply, and then I'll get the filter satisfied conditions over here. So that's what something thing is like an going on, the execution is like an going on. So if I want to perform the same kind of activity by using script, I need to use this query method. Okay, and I have here see 13 records, right? let's as of now I have 13 records. Okay, if I want to go with like in one by one, okay, need to check it out like in all the records over here, then I'll go with the while loop. So it will check it out like in, let's say, while inc dot next. Okay, it will go with like in the first record here, first record over here, and it will check it out. And then what's the next line? gs dot print. So see, this is what something which we use to print it out. gs dot print inc dot, inc is nothing but the incident variable which we declared here dot short description. So the first iteration, it will check it out like in first record, and then it will check it out like in the description or short description over here, and it will print this one. Okay, and this is done, and the loop will run for like a second record as well, and the same thing will go with the second as well. So in that way, which we are going with like an all the records which satisfies the condition here. Okay, and which we are going to close with the flower braces. Okay, so if I execute this, what will happen? All the category of having a software record, so software value of like an all the incident tables, like an incident table with like an all the records, it will filter out and it will take the thing, it's like an all the records of like an software category, and it will execute it, and it will display the short description here. So as we told, as I conveyed before, so which we can go with like in CRUD operations. So which I can create a record, which I can read a record. Okay, this is something about reading the record. So I'm just getting a other field value of these records. That's it. And I can update record, I can delete records as well. Okay, so these things and all which we can perform. Let me execute this one first. Okay, and before that, guys, let me go with like in the methods, whatever which we have. See, client record methods here we have query, add active query, add encoded query, add inactive query, next, get, set limit, all the methods which we have. So your thing is like just go to like an each and every method. I'll go with like in few. Okay, so now we are at like an 8:36, right? So let me go with like in few right now. Okay, and the video which I'm gonna share you, okay, which I'll go with like in all the explanation of like in all the methods. No need to worry about it. Okay, and then after finishing this one, so you just need to go with like in the remaining documents as well. Just remember this. Just take it as an assignment and go with this. Okay, so now let me go with the document here. Yeah, so which we are going to cover like in all the methods in a glide record. See, so all these things. So before, let's say I just need to practice this, so where I need to do, as of now we haven't gone to like in script, right? So the schedule job which I showed you, and then the UI policies which I showed you like in the script part which you have, right? So for practicing purpose, the best way which we have is like in fixed script and then background script. Okay, so background script is nothing but, let type it out like in background here, you will get a script background. See, the script background. And let me tell you what is the background script actually. So background script is nothing but the server side script which we can execute in a single time. So whatever the query which we are going to write it out over here. So if I click on like a run script, I'll get an output here after execution. Okay, and one more
Priyanka,
thing,
can come again.
background script is nothing but this is a single time execution which we can do here. So I can write a script here, and if I
How to
run
launch
this,
this page?
type it out like a background script and open the script background. That's it. Okay. So whenever I open this back, this is what only for like a server side scripting. So after writing like in all the line of script over here, if I click on like an run script, so the execution will be done for my tables. If I'm gonna update it, the updations will be done in my table. If I'm gonna delete it, so that will help over here. So this is what something, a single time execution which I can do here, okay, in a projects. But whereas for you, for practicing purpose, this will help you a lot actually. So while practicing, guys, one more thing, don't copy paste the sample line of script over here which I'm going to show you here. Don't uh, copy paste it. So as I showed you, told you before, right, var a is equal to 10, b is equal to 20, c is equal to a plus b. So how I'm going to print is gs dot print with a plus b, then I'll gonna print out like in the c value with the 30. Okay, so if I give this, even that will help up. So don't ever copy paste it. So what you guys need to do, just type it out. Then while typing, so the methods, the kind of like a logic and everything will be there in your mind. Okay, if you copy paste it, you'll get to know what it is, the purpose, and how that will execute. That's it. And what's the output. But while you're typing, you're going to read out like an each and every line over there, right? So you'll get to know what it is and how we need to use, and that will be there in your mind for like a long days. Okay, so just do that while practicing as well. So let me show you like in the execution process as well. So let's say example here, I have a glide record practice guide, right? So here they are working with the query method. Okay, so as I showed you before, so this is for something which we have seen where inc is equal to new glide record of instance. So here no restrictions of like in going with only inc. You can go with like an any variable other than reserved words. Okay, so here you can go with like an your name as well or ABC or anything, but that should be meaningful. That's it. Okay, and see the glide record is a main object and then table is incident which we used it. Okay, and I'm querying it, and then this query is like an executing in a table which execute the whole incident table over there. Okay, and I'll going with like an incident inc and which the loops will run for like an all the table. It's like an on the table with all the records. Okay, and then which I'm going to print a number of a incident records actually. So if I try this out in a background script. Okay, so see guys, this is like in the comment which I told you before. So the comment will won't be executed. So this is for like an our understanding only. What's the purpose of this specific line? That's it. Okay, so the green thing will won't execute. So here whatever which I type it out, maybe like in the stuff which is not required for our purpose, that also will be taken. That compiler will won't take it as like an while executing, and it will take only the lines which is there here. Okay, so if I click
Priyanka,
on run script, yeah.
in the first line, you didn't mention that semicolon. Is it
What?
okay? In the first,
No,
after
it's
the
not
incident.
okay actually. We just need to go with like in semicolon. Okay, so if I type it, if I go with this, see, I got like an all the incident records of a incident table. Okay, so what I did here actually is nothing but I just glided glide record of like in gliding a incident table, and then I queried it. That's it, and I'm using like in while loop just for like an iteration purpose, and I'm printing a number here. So if I go with like in some other field value, backend value of a thing, and remember one thing, whenever we are going to write a script or something else, okay, the backend value only you need to mention over there. Okay, let's say example, the number here, the color we have, right? So let's say example, we have a column. So if I give this color over in a while filtering, let's say example, color inc dot number, or else if I go with like an add query, if I add it out like in the color, it won't take, because the backend value of like in caller is caller underscore id. We know that, right? Call underscore id. If I go to like a short description, if I give this short description with a space, that won't take up. It should be short underscore description. So that's what which we need to go with the backend values. That's the purpose of like in, I told you, right, this backend value will help while we are going to write a script. Okay, so that's what which we need to do. It's a best practice to copy paste from here instead of like in typing out. So we know about like in the description, right? So just double tap here and copy this and paste it out wherever you need. Okay, and let me go with like in the second one. Okay, so see here we have a query, add query, next, and while, which you are using here. See, which we are going with like in the priority is equal to 1. So what's the priority value of 1? Critical, right? So I'll get here only the critical incidents only. So whenever I have a incident table, the priority is equal to 1. So that will come up. So first let me go to the table here and we'll filter out that and we'll check it out the count. So just check it out like in the priority, how many incidents are there with like in the priority critical. Let me drag the priority. So priority is equal to critical. So yeah, so let me filter out this. So here I have 28 records. 28 records with like in critical thing, right? So let me use the script here. See, what I'm doing over here is like I'm just going with like in the incident table is like I'm gliding over here. I'm adding a filter. Add query is nothing but priority is equal to 1. So why it is like in 1 instead of critical is nothing but the backend value of this critical is 1. Right, so we know about this as well. So then the choice fields as well, we need to use a backend value. So if I go to like in the backend value of a critical thing, okay, so let me show you for you guys. Oh, one second, one second. So which we can go with the, see, the priority backend value is 1 here. So if it is not working for you as an util, just right click on this and then go to the configure dictionary and go down. They will, you will get like a choice section over there. Just check it out, the value, backend value of this specific choice as well. Okay, so that's the reason I just, we have a 1 instead of like in the critical word. Okay, so the priority backend value is like a priority, and then the critical backend value is like a 1. That's what which is there over here. Priority is equal to 1. Okay, I'm querying it with like a while loop and I'm printing a number. Just go with this. See, I got like in the 28 records over here, all this stuff. So we can go with like in the count as well. How many records are there by using like in row count method. Okay, so even that also which we are gonna cover. And the next thing is like in multiple queries also which we can add it out. So let's say I just need to filter out like in multiple stuff. Let's say active is equal to true, priority is 1, and category is software. So I can add it out like an add query over here and that will work on. See, if I go with like in this query in a background script, see I have a 4 records which satisfy that 3 conditions. Okay, and these instead of like an going ahead with like an all the multiple times of like an add query, we have a add encoded query method. So here, see in a list view, if I go with like in multiple filters over here, so see, I have a these stuff, right? So right click here, copy query and add the encoded query method and copy paste this query over there, and then that will work. See, add encoded query. So how to copy that as well? We have a steps here. Okay, add encoded query, just copy the query and paste it over here. See, this is the copied query. Add is active is equal to true, category is equal to software, and priority is equal to 1. So if I add like a multiple add query, I got a 4 records, right? So if I use this with the same conditions, we'll see how many will come up. So just go to like a background script, and while you are doing, please type and do. Okay, see we have a 4 record. The same stuff is like an executing over there as well, because which we are using like an add encoded query method over here instead of multiple add queries. So here you will get like in the script and then how does look like in a background script and then the execution as well. Okay, add encoded query which we can set it out like in the values as well. Okay, and me go a bit down. See, in add query which we can go with like in string operator the values. So if I go a bit down, so see the priority is less than or equal to 2 is nothing but 1 and 2 will come up. Okay, so the priority and then the high value will come up over here, so which we can use a string operators and all and the compiler as well. Let me check it out here. See, yeah, so now I got, see, less than or equal to 2, right? The high and then the critical incidents came up over here. Okay, so this will be like in very easy to understand, guys, with like in all the methods and then clear explanation of that and then sample query. Okay, and then the view of like in background script and all, and then result as well. See, print critical 1 and high 2 tickets. Okay, and which we can go with like in 1 by 1 and all. Okay, and here see which we can go with like in, see, in operator. So category contains in, so we have here, see, if I go to the table here, I have a, let's say example, if I open here, The internal stuff, see, is not, is one of these stuff which we use over here, right? So even this also which we can use in our scripting. So he starts with, or else is contains and all these things and all. So if I go with like and see, is not one of, let's say example two, which I'm gonna and run it. Okay, if I copy this, if I copy this query, even that also will come up. Let me paste it here. See, incident 4 assigned to, so the society also came up actually. So priority not in 3. So that the thing is like and came up over here as well, right? So that's what which we can go with like in these operators as well, and can perform multiple kind of stuff over here to fulfill our requirement. Okay, and then starts with operator, so starts with like an NA. So here we are going to type it out like in the value over here, right? So assigned to is like in something, let's say example Fred Lurdy we have, right? So starts with like in Fred Lurdy, so nothing else, no records found. So the start with is nothing but the thing which we are giving over there, the word or else the line of letters which we are giving over there is nothing but starts with operator. So what you need to guys need to do, just go with like an each method and type the script over here, background script, and execute it and know about all the stuff. Okay, and add active query. So add active query is nothing but, so here we'll get only the active records. Active is equal to true records. Okay, let's say we do have like in multiple false is like in, inactive records as well, right? So inactive records is nothing but closure records of instance table. Okay, so if I want to go with like in accept the closure records, then I just need to go with the add encode, add active query. So this is for like an incident table. If it is like in some other table, if I need to query like in the active records of like in any other thing, then I will go with this. Only the active, or else let me query like an user table. Okay, if I use this add active query here, okay, instead of like in passing active is equal to true, okay, then I will get only the active users of a user table. As I told you before, so this is not only for the incident table, it's for like a whole tables in a ServiceNow instance. Okay, so just as we are familiar with like an incident table, so just everything will is which I'm gonna explain in an incident table only right now. So whenever you are good with like in all the concepts and basics and everything whatever we explained, we was it's like an learning, we were learning. Okay, so this will help you a lot for like a better understanding. When you are good with like an all the stuff, then you can do experiments with the other tables as well. Okay, but in your projects and all, it's not only for instant, it will be like a multiple tables as well. Okay, different tables as well other than this instant table. Okay, yeah, so we have a add inactive query as well. So the same thing which is like an opposite of active query. So here we have like in multiple methods whatever which we discussed like in there guys, just go with like in everything. Set limit is nothing but see, it displays like in the limit of records whatever which I have given actually. So let me go with this. See, here I have only 10, right? So if I execute this in a background script, okay, now I'll get only the 10 records actually. So if I count this, I'll get only the 10 records here. So which we can limit up the record count as well. So it depends on like another thing. So we have a get, choose window. So all these things just go to this. We'll get like a purpose of using this and then sample script and we'll get it out. So as I told you before now, we have a row, get row count as well. So if I want to get like a count of records, okay, so I can use this method get row count, and we have a glide aggregate as well. We have a count there. Okay, see, I have 89 records. So how many are there in our instance? 89 records, right? So if I add it out like a filter, okay, even that also will work up. Let's say example, I added like an add query with a software or something else, and if I go with like and say let's say example critical, so how many I'll get here? 28. So now if I run with like in this filter as well, then I'll get 28 as an output here. So it depends on like in the query and then execution of later, so it will get the count. Okay, just go to like in all the methods over here guys. So if you are good with like in all these methods, then that will be easy for you to understand and easy to work as well. As like in service now scripting and everything will be like in very easy. And then this is like in very clear with the purpose of using sample script and then execution as well. So if you have any queries or something else, okay, we can discuss later as well when you're practicing. Something is like a not working or something, okay, you can let me know so that I can clear that as well. Okay, and after finishing this glide record thing, just go with like in the remaining stuff as well. Let me open like in the glide form. So the same thing will be there, just like in the before thing. So see, they are going to explain like a glide form, which you're going to use like a g underscore form. See, the methods is nothing but these stuff. So just go to like and set value, get value, add options, remind or remove options and everything, and get the purpose of like and using a method. And then here, see, we have a sample script and execute it and you'll get the output. So all the stuff actually. So this is what something the form glide form which we use mostly in a client scripts actually. So the client side scripting, right? So this is what about like a client side scripting most probably which we use, and then glide record is like a server side scripting which we use very frequently actually. Okay, so now go with your questions, guys, and we can wrap up because it's like in too late. 8:55, 5 minutes to 9. Okay, so yeah. Just go with like in these videos and then documents. Don't skip these stuff. If you are good with like in these methods and all, then the next concept which we can understand very clearly.
I have a question for the
Yeah.
scripting part.
Sure, go ahead.
Can you explain what a function is again?
Yeah, function is a kind of like a block of script. Okay, it depends on like an your requirement which you're going to execute it. Let's say if I declare like a function, and then in a function there is like in the curly braces, right? So under the block, whatever which we are going to write it out, or else whatever the functionality which we need to execute it, but that will execute when we call the function.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Priyanka, can we pass the system properties values to the scripting?
Yes, we can. We have a
So, okay.
get property, uninset property, one method we have. So with that we can.
So
can
can
do
we
that
use
as well. Yeah, go ahead.
can we use that in a client side or server side scripting?
Server side only. Covers client side I haven't used so far. I used only in a server side as of now. Recently I
Okay.
used it actually. Yeah.
Which is that function? Get
That set get property.
property. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. And thank you for like an being for like a so long time.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you
Or
so
night.
much, guys. Have a great day then. Good morning for you.
Thank you, Priyanka.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Priyanka.
thank you, guys.